Welcome back. Today we're working on our International 1066 project. It's been a while since you've seen the last video. It's getting busy on the farm, so I had a day to work on it today. So just gonna do some odds and ends today to get it ready to bolt back the front of the tractor up to it. So we got to install our shifter rails and forks. We'll put this top housing on and put a new transmission brake on and just a little miscellaneous stuff. So let's go ahead and get to it. All right, we'll go ahead and start by putting our shifter rails and forks and everything together here. The rails and forks are the same, so they should go in either way. Okay, put our cam levers in. Just make sure you don't lose this little bushing on here. Went ahead and got some new screws to put in here. And I'm gonna put a little red Loctite on them. Let's plug in. All right, we'll go ahead and torque these down tight as we can get them. All right, let's make sure everything looks good. All right, everything's moving well. So the manual says to stake the side of the screws. Just make sure you do it on the sides of them where there's room to stake them. All right, we're good to go there. Yeah, let's get this top plate and we'll put on it. I got some O-rings to put in it first, so we'll go over on the bench and work on that. All right, little insert here. I actually had to take this all back apart. I had to get some different shift forks to put in it. These are the original ones in it. They were pretty wore, and I think one of them was bent actually, because when I put it in first and second gear and I would spin the input shaft, this gear here was actually riding too close to this quill gear in there, or into that. It was actually bouncing off like that. You can tell this is the one I pulled out. You know, it's pretty chewed on, so I don't know if that's what caused that or not, but that's what that was doing. So I got a set of used shift forks, put it all back together, and it's working good now. So that's a little update there. Hey, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. All right, we got this cover all cleaned up and painted. So let's go ahead and put it back together. I'm replacing this O-ring right here. So we'll go ahead and pull that out and put a new one in. I always like to match up the O-ring, new O-ring with the old one. Just make sure they give you the right one. Looks like the right one. We'll just soak it in some hydraulic oil here. Throw the new one on. Just like that. Just make sure we got this nice and lubed up so we don't tear that O-ring when we push it through the hole here. Just like that. Okay, we'll go ahead and put our shifter cam back in here. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and clean this up real quick and I'll bring it back here. All right, I got it all cleaned up, so go ahead and put this back in. We need to make sure we put our key in here like that. Make sure our spring is on here. Push this lever, you can see in there, push this lever down so you can get it to slide the rest of the way down. So, C-clip ring on here. Just like that. All right, we got that all put back together. So we'll go ahead and clean this gasket surface up real quick and put our gasket on there. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and throw this gasket on this cover plate first. I'll use some of this, more of the spray adhesive on this gasket so we have a good seal. I'll just let that sit for a minute or so to get it tacky. All right, it's all pretty tacky, so we'll go ahead and throw it on there. All right, I'm gonna put some more adhesive on this gasket and then we'll be ready to throw it on. All right, I got this set up on 4th gear, so this first shift fork needs to be all the way forward. This second one here needs to be about perpendicular here. That way we have these lined up when we put our cover on. It should go right down on there. I'll grab the cover. Found the best way to do is just put your screwdriver through that shaft hole. That way it's a lot easier to set it on down. You just want to make sure you have that shaft turned all the way counterclockwise. And that should be this shaft here, all the way turned counterclockwise. That should be 4th gear. And it just falls right on down like that. So that's all there is to that. We'll go ahead and throw these 3 bolts in. Just snug it down for now. That's all there is to that. So like I said, this all the way counterclockwise is 4th gear. Move it up 1, that's 3rd gear. That's 2nd gear there. And 1st. Now, like I showed you that little insert clip there a minute ago, that when I had this in 1st and 2nd gear and I was spinning this input shaft, that gear was bouncing off. So that's when I knew there was a problem with them shift forks. But everything sounds good now. So let's go ahead and put our new transmission brake on and get that cover put back up on there. All right, we're gonna go ahead and take this transmission brake off of here. I got a new one right here to install on. And I'm gonna get this thing all cleaned up and throw some fresh paint on it. All right, after you get that C-clip out, there's a little pin right here that you can usually pull out with a magnet. A little magnet on the end of a little bit. See if we can get it out of there. just like that. You can see little pin holds that shaft in there. Then we should be able to knock this key out here. Now we should be able to pull everything right on out. There we have it. That O-ring has been leaking on this thing. That's why I was getting a lot of oil built up on the bottom of it and everything. So I'll make sure to replace that too. So I'll go outside and get this thing all cleaned up and we can throw some fresh paint on it. Alright, we got everything cleaned up and painted, so let's go ahead and throw this new transmission brake on there. Got a new O-ring to replace this one because it was leaking a little bit. We'll go ahead and replace that one while we're at it. And I got a little hydraulic oil here we'll coat this O-ring with so we don't tear it. There we go, just like so, and then we'll put a little more oil on it so we don't rip that when we're shoving it through the hole. Get our key in there. Like that. Make sure we got plenty of oil on that O-ring. Just work it back and forth. Alright. Put our little pin back in. Hole there. Work it back and forth until we get it to drop in there. Just like that. And all we gotta do is put this C-clip in. Just like that. I'll go ahead and clean this surface up real quick. Alright, I already got some spray adhesive on this gasket, so we'll go ahead and put it on here. Alright, and then we'll add a little more. Now let's go ahead and throw it on there. Alright, we got her all bolted up there. Looks good. Okay, it's starting to come together a little bit here. Alright guys, next we're going to be removing all the sheet metal around the fuel tank and steering column here. So we can get to pressure wash all this dirt and grease that's been building up for the last 40 years. Alright guys, that's going to be it for today's video. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. The next video we're going to be doing will be mounting the steering column back up and hopefully bolting the tractor back together. So stay tuned for that, and we'll see you the next time.